Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the penultimate season of the world's best esports league. It is, of course, JACKOCAR and Season 9, and for the first time ever, at the driver's request, a mystery calendar kicking off tonight in Portimao, Portugal. So Ben Shaw is ruining his decision to go and get drunk for one of his friends sending off occasions. No idea what it is. So our reigning champion is not here on opening night, but somebody who is here on opening night is the first co-commentator of the season. Of goodness knows how many we will have, but her first commentary since Spain season 3. It is the one and only Jessica Ball. Good evening. How are you, Jess?
Hello, Jacko. I'm liking this mystery track idea. Nobody knows what the track's going to be until they get into the qualifying session, and it just mixes it up a little bit. Unpredictability, we don't know the strategy. They have only little time to think about the setup as well, because not every driver has every setup for every track, but for most drivers they should have a setup for Portugal, because we raced here last season. Last time we raced here, it was Gareth that won the race, the new King of Portugal. I was there.
A last lap pass as well after a very late restart is what got Gareth into the playoffs. I have noticed very early doors we had the very old qualifying glitch where like the timer counts down from 18, it gets to 17 minutes and then jumps back up to 18. So we are seeing OKK out a little bit later than what we thought he might be. Of course, on his Delta, he is out. And it's a welcome back to Michael OKK. And whilst he does his outlap, let's think back of the memories that Portugal has given us. The one notably I can think of is that Championship 5 race where you stole a podium on the infamous night that Nils won that title out of nothing in the Kia Series. Do you remember it?
Yes, I do remember. I don't know how I did it, but I literally remember going into the pit lane. I think it was a few people, having issues, with the grit, and I saw, right, there's people having issues on the track. I would pit. Next second later, safety car, and that was a season where you can't pit under safety car at all. So I was just like, I timed that very well. There was a lot of people on minters as well, on softs as well, so I was able to jump ahead of faster people on the grid. I bought the second place, but we don't talk about that.
Oh, was it third in the end?
Yeah, it was third because I think Newgarden had an unfair penalty, I think it was.
Ah, okay. Very well. Sorry. But after that, you did go on to win a race later on in your Kia Series career, so not all was lost. As we... I tell you what, Jess, how prepared are you? Do you want to take us for a lap around Portugal, or are you still finding your information?
I'm still finding my notes.
Okay, I'll make it up then as we go on board with the returning Michael OKK into turn 1, and that is not the optimal line. It's one of the trickier turn 1s of the calendar, as is turn 3. Multiple lines through here, and then the off-camber and slippery uphill turn 4 into the first DRS zone comes Michael OKK. This will be down into turn 5, where I once stopped a man in One Hub Racing from winning a title. Great night that was. Michael OKK gets through there nicely, and this is the quick 6, and then slightly slower 7. Tries to turn in a bit too early. Uphill turn 8, again very, very awkward on traction. Michael OKK is aware of that as he rides down the hill into 9, and then uphill braking zone into 10, and this will complete the sector 2 and puts us into the final sector downhill, and many a good overtaking spots around this track. This is one of them. Owen Wyatt. Owen Wyatt sent it there last season, the race that he nearly won but didn't. It was a race eventually won by Gareth Hall, who'll be looking to try and find those fortunes again tonight. But into the Estoril style final corner then for Michael OKK as he heads down to the finish line, and that is a lap, the first and opening qualifying lap of season 9. OKK a 1:20.1 as we now move to Mr. Danny Quinn. Wherever is he? Down in P13.
He was hoping that it wasn't going to be Monaco because he thought that the stages would represent Monaco, but he's probably believed that one of his favourite tracks on the calendar, Portimao, was picked rather than Monaco. Obviously, runner-up in the Kia Series last season, just missed out to Waze, who we're about to go on board with next, but Quinn goes up to the line, and it's a 1:17.7 for one of the drivers who got promoted from Kia. Next driver on a lap should be Waze, who won the Kia Series Championship last season.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Here he is, the man from Wales who ended a streak of 4 Dutch champions in a row. 4 Dutch championships, I should say, because, of course, Mr. Jori Hazelager won 2 of them. The other ones being Niels and Jori's brother Leroy. A little bit wide from Waze, but we'll keep it valid. And, of course, the Season 1 champion of Kia, who can forget SD Mats, Christian Hataro from Estonia. So Waze making it, I believe, 5 nationalities of drivers who have now won titles in the league. Estonia, Holland, England, Bahrain and Wales. What can the Kia Series champion do? Too fast for us slow guys on a Tuesday night, and too fast for the 3 guys that have been out so far. Waze P1, but will that remain the case as we move on to a man who supports Ajax, who are a rubbish football team? It's Michel Goris, who's invalidated, Jess.
Oh, he has invalidated. Oh, tut up, Michel. On your first outing back in the Cup Series after last season, I'm sure he would have wanted to improve after his misfortunes, but maybe this could be the season to do it with hardly any practice on the track. So who is next? I think it's Mike Kelterborn next, if I can find him. There we go. With going towards turn number 8. Now, again, he struggled a bit last season compared to previous season. I think the season before we got into the playoffs. Last season he couldn't even do that. He's passing towards turn 11, has a lot of camber and elevation change for there, heading towards turn 12, keeping your car towards the left as you possibly can. There's quite a few bumps, so it's really easy to lose traction through turn 13, and as Lando Norris likes to say, up and down, side to side like a roller coaster as he heads towards the final few corners. Goes Mike Kelterborn, turn 15 up to the line. Is it enough to beat Wade's time of 1:17.5? No, it's only P3 at 1:19.1.
You may remember for many years Mike was the only German in the league. There's now about 5 of them. The rest of them you'll find on a Tuesday night in the Kia Series as we move on to Jamie Griffiths in his Mountain Dew coloured inspired machine here. 2-time winner in the Cup Series. The Welshman looking for better fortunes like many drivers. What can he do this season? He has the potential. But he just is yet to put it all together. He also, by the way, has the record for the most races attended in a row in the Cup Series. That's 83. He will get to 100 in a row this season as he goes P1 of 17.2, which puts us on to tonight's joker, Mr. Sullivan Lewis, who I will be playing golf with next weekend, I believe. Very slidey through there. There's another Jake O'Sullivan tournament that he's made up for us, and of course OKK, Ben Harrett, myself, Mr. Lewis, all in attendance. Here comes Sullivan through the final corner. Where can he put himself, Jess? It is P4.
Not a bad lap for Risky. Again, these drivers haven't had any time to practice. Up next is the first of the Hasselager brothers, Leroy, who won the Kia Series Championship a few seasons ago. And he's heading towards, I think it's Torre Vit turn 5, or is it? No, it is Leroy up next. It's a bit of a gap between Risky and Leroy. That's why I got a bit confused. So it might have been he'd gone about a little bit later, but he's through turn 8. He's keeping it nice and tidy through there. It is hard to negotiate your lap through there because you could have a few spins. Pass in towards turn 10 and 11 as well, looking nice and dry weather-wise, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem for him. Now heading towards turn 12, keeping it to the left, moving it to the right through turn number 13. It's looking like a good middle set for Leroy as he heads towards the final few corners. Can he look to improve on his season from last season as he's still learning no traction, I believe, if I'm not too mistaken. Up the line goes Leroy, and that is P2.
He's getting there. Leroy, of course, not with the best of seasons last season, but you know he has the ability to win. He's like Jamie Griffiths, maybe slightly better, if anything. Hence the later time slot that you see him come out in there, which saw him go P2 behind Jamie. Up next is Leroy's brother, 2-time champion of the Kia Series and also a voice, Gareth Hall's bitch on a Tuesday night. Yuri Hazelaga tries to get a little bit of stream as he comes up to the line, and that is P7. He didn't move from where he was, so I was waiting for something to happen, and Yuri has not delivered, and that'll be the Max Verstappen helmet causing that. Speaking of failures and cheaters, here is Kieran Spears. Cheating, if you're wondering what the reference is, USA Season 4, when he crashed his car into a wall on purpose to bring out a safety car. It worked, and then he still lost the championship. He would, however, go back to the USA in Miami 2 seasons later and still a championship off of Corey and Ben Shaw. Ben Shaw had that one wrapped up, but he would have to wait another 2 seasons himself to win the championship, which he did in Las Vegas. So lots of continuity is the word I think I'm looking for when it comes to America and JACKOCAR. Of course, the league that the country we base ourselves off. As Kieran goes P1, nobody cares. Jess, talk to us about Kyle Smith, who isn't here, so instead talk to us about Pete Knighton, who, by the way, had the most DNFs of anyone last season with 8.
Yeah, but to be fair, he got through to the playoffs last season, which was a lot better than his previous season, so his form is there. I was hoping in a way he would get through to the Championship 5 last season, have a bit of a redemption from season 1, because that's where he won his Cup Series title on debut. Oh, that wasn't good through turn 3, was it? That was a bit squirmy on the throttle. But yeah, I think he is known for making quite a few mistakes, more than anybody else. But again, with hardly any practice, maybe this could be a track that he likes, that he's quite comfortable with. But we won't know until we get to the end of the race, of course, as he heads towards turn 8. I think this is not going to be a fast lap for Pete after turn 3. But you never know, he could pull it off through sector 3.
Yeah, of course, another season goes by without Pete adding to his championship total. Who remembers that famous night in May of 2020 when he won the title over Khalifa by 0.3 of a second? He has yet to do anything of value since, other than give me my first Kia win in Singapore in the Kia series. But Jeddah. What did I say?
You said Singapore.
Same difference, isn't it? Same time on an aeroplane if you fly there. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, there goes Pete into P7, which leaves us looking at last season's winner, Gareth Hall, with another bright car. There's a difference between Gareth Hall and Kieran Spears, and other than intelligence, Gareth's liveries, the colourful ones, are much better than Kieran's, and that's a comment that he will like, because Kieran's are crap. But through the final corner comes Gareth, and over the line he goes. It'll be a P6. Remember, the notoriously bad qualifier with an average qualifying last season of just P11, and then got knocked out in Mexico.
Like he does every season. I think pretty much every season he's in the playoffs, he always gets knocked out in Mexico. Could this be the season? Well, you never know when Mexico's on the calendar, so it could be at the middle of the season, or it could be none at all. But next is Corey, who again just missed out on the Championship 5 last season. He did his best to take it all the way to the likes of Casper, Khalifa and Arnaud, who made it through over him. Imagine what it could have been in Qatar. But he exits turn 13 and 14 now. He's a quick driver, so I would expect him to get into the playoffs once again, and I would expect him to get into a Championship 5. He's a much improved driver and cleaner driver than I've seen in previous seasons, which is great to see from him. He's more feisty. Up the line goes Corey. P2, a tenth shy of Kieran there, and P1 at the moment. And next is the man who didn't make the Championship 5 for the very first time, and is Jake O'Sullivan. A big shock last season, I've noticed.
I will correct you there. It's the second time he failed. You may remember that magic night in Monaco.
Yes.
Yes, where he just failed. He was very upset then, and he was very upset last season as well. He went into the playoffs with a huge advantage, but it just shows what 3 DNFs can do to even the fastest driver, and he was the fastest driver last season. There were battles with Khalifa and Arnaud and Ben Shaw, but Jake O'Sullivan knocked out in the round of 6, and now only going P5 here in Portugal. A bit of a qualifying master, but is this mystery calendar going to get to him as we move on, Jess, to the fast five, and first of those is the man who put his car into the wall in Las Vegas on the final lap, and it gave Ben Shaw a title. Casper was there. He was in the picture to win it, and he just lost out. Runs a bit wide, but keeps it valid. Best livery I've seen tonight, by the way. What do you think of this one?
I absolutely love it. He was showing it to me in DMs this morning, and I was a big fan. I think during the development of his livery, he was like, "What do you think of this? What do you think of this?" And I like the colours, and I like the template as well. It just goes very nicely. I might nick that template myself for the Kia series on Tuesday night in a few weeks' time. But Casper goes up to the line. P4 for Casper. Still, I still think he could have found a bit more time in that final sector potentially. But that is Casper done, and it's Ben Spurs.
An invalidating Ben Spurs, Ben Harrott, however you wish to refer to him as. What a brilliant run of form last season, went all the way. There were points in Las Vegas where he led the race. He could have been the champion, the midfield man, as we refer to him as. And he has told me to tell you, the viewers, and you, Jess, that this is not the same livery. However, the colours are, so therefore it's the same livery. Moving on, we have 3 to go. 2 of them are full-timers. The first of those is the man who had a baby on championship night. He didn't win the title, but his wife did give birth. It's Arnaud de Grief, back in the Belgian colours, back here in Portugal, where he had a win taken away from him for an invalid restart zone, but we never mention it. Arnaud through this it's a penultimate corner, really, isn't it? Of the ones that are any good. But down the hill comes Arnaud. Didn't win a race last season. Is it time for him to go back to the top? Yet to have a championship as well. It's P3, leaves Kieran at the top then. What about Khalifa? Jess, it's over to you.
Khalifa, who also could have won the title last season, picked up quite a few wins to his name. Of course, he is also a JACKOCAR Cup Series champion. Season 3, when we did the 100% race around Austria, which was a good addition. We all didn't know until the night of the event that the drivers were going to be racing a 100% race, which threw them off, just like it doing for the rest of the season. That wasn't that comfortable from Khalifa through. I think it was turn 11 where he lost it there, so not quite comfortable for him, but I think that could be, I would say, top 5, but knowing him, he could have a time that will put him into the 1:16. He is the man who can get a lot of good qualifying, so all it counts is the race, and he can do both of those. Khalifa goes up to the line, and it is a P4, yeah. Still so close though between Kieran, Corey and Arnaud, and finally we got our reserve driver who is from the Kia Series, Matt Shepherd.
Matt Shepherd, who, as you say, Jess, is from the Kia Series, so we don't expect this to go pole, but we have seen some brilliant performances from Kia drivers in the Cup Series in the past. Hopefully Matt Shepherd can get in the mix tonight and become another race winner in this tier. Where can he put that orange and blue car? Over the line, it's P14, but that is solid considering the pace difference between the 2 tiers. So there you go. First point of the season goes to Kieran Spears. He leads the championship then here on night 1, and that hopefully is the last time we say that. But as you say, Corey, Arnaud, Khalifa, they're all in the fun zone. Jamie Griffiths with a good qualifying. Casper still in the mix. Leroy, don't ever count out Jake, and a very good showing from Waze and Quinn, completing the top 10 on their Cup Series. Not so much debuts. They've had debuts, but their full-time starts here in Season 9. The rest of them, Gareth does end up P11. Risky the Joker, P12. Pete is 13th. Matt Shep, as we saw, is 14th. Then it's MK Bourne, Yori and OKK, the last of the valid laps. The invalid ones were Ben Harrott and Michel Goris, who finishes 19th where he did last season, and the one missing is Kyle Smith due to internet issues. There you go.
So that's why he's not here.
Yeah, but he is invited to the party should he wish to join us.
Yeah, he's invited to the lobby as well. So if the internet does get sorted, and if he wants to do a bit of commentary with us, he's more than welcome.
Absolutely. I hear that myself and Kyle as a commentary duo was very popular last season. I don't know why. but it seemed to work.
It was. I really enjoyed you two bantering with each other during comms. That's the point of JACKOCAR. It doesn't have to be serious. It could be as fun as you like. So I enjoyed that, and Carl brought his driver insight as well from the Cup Series. So yeah, I wouldn't mind him commentating again in the future if he gets sick of racing. But I'm glad he's racing again this season because I think he had a surgery. I believe.
Yes, his girlfriend pushed him off a horse, and that's why he was incapable of racing. Not that he needed an excuse. Obviously, what was it, 3 or 4 visits to the Championship 5 and no returns. A handful of races, 1 in the past, 11 of them, I believe, which ties him with Ben Shaw, Arnaud, and Jake O'Sullivan. All big names on 11 race wins. Khalifa has broken free of that. He's on 13. Or 14 it might be, and the leader, who is absent this season as he was for much of last season, Jamie Wright, 19 Cup Series race wins and is sitting out all of season 9. What else do we need to say? The stage points, Jess, you'll like this. Just to mix it up, normally Portugal would be lap 8 and lap 16 is where you win your stages. Tonight, lap 10 and lap 20. So then that gives drivers a 12 lap dash to the finish on what I would expect to be soft tyres. But you're the person that will know, can the softs do 12 laps here?
Ultimately, it could last quite a bit around here. It can last about 11 laps. So if there's a safety car, that is definitely a viable option for people to go onto the soft tyres at the end. It could last a bit longer than the other tracks. So to start off the season with Portugal, it's probably the best start. And people thought it was Monaco with the stages that we got, but you like to throw a spanner in the works to make sure that they don't predict the stages, which I like, because otherwise they'll search for your tweet saying, oh, these are these stages, it's this track. No, it's not. I like that.
Well, they thought they would have it easy, but as you say, it's JACKOCAR. It's never going to be easy. As we follow Kieran round on the formation lap. What are we expecting from this season? I have no idea. Mystery tracks really throw it out. I've had people, big names, let's say Khalifa and Jake, say they will really struggle with this setup because they are people that do practice. And we've seen 4th and 8th are not positions where we expect them to be after qualifying. I think we might just have a championship on our hands. As long as it doesn't go to Kieran, I think everyone and the world will be at peace.
I like unpredictability. I like the fact that the drivers don't have enough time to practice. As soon as you give the ready up signal, that's when the track is revealed to the drivers, and then that's it. They only have a few minutes to think about the setup because Parc Fermé is on, of course, and it doesn't give them a long time to think about the strategy either, because usually, most of the time, they think about the strategy on the day as well. They may change it based on practice, thinking, oh, these softs can last a bit longer. I'm unsurprised to see most people are starting on the softs, except Kieran, our pole man, on the mediums, Wave on the mediums, Risky on the hards, and Ben Harrett on the mediums. I thought Kieran would go for the softs since he's on pole, but he's opted for a different strategy.
I wonder if Kieran is thinking of that stage 1 victory and get himself 2 playoff points. He's already got the 1 for pole. Can he go and get the 1 for stage 1? 2 cars already on the grid due to disqualifications. Yuri is one of those. The other is probably Gareth, isn't it? Yeah, of course it is. Who has flown round on the formation lap, heated his tyres up really nicely, and now has to wait for everyone. You see, they're still waiting for Kieran to come through. Classic Gareth, doing Gareth things. He was a brilliant insight, letting him race in the Championship 5 last season for the first time, having the driver comm availability as well as the commentary expertise. Here is Pete Knighton, who will slide past a handful of cars as he gets himself into his P13 slot and will angle himself like an absolute idiot. There we go. And well, it's that time of the season. It's our penultimate season, would you believe? 1 more year of JACKOCAR, and let's hope it gets off to a good start. We're just waiting for one final car. It's Michel Goris who has gone early, and I wonder what has happened here.
Is it one of those formation lap glitches, I presume?
If it is, we may well have to come back to you. But as it happens, Michel Goris leads the race here in Portugal. Let me check the chat before we make any silly decisions. Lobby is broke, lobby is glitch, blah, blah, blah. I'm guessing we may have to go to a cheeky little restart here. Unless we want to watch Michel Goris for 33 laps. What we will do is just give him one lap, just to see if it fixes the issue here. Jess, you're more involved with the F1 game than I am. Is this a common glitch that we're seeing?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I've first time in JACKOCAR, but it's happened a lot in one hub. That's why we turned formation lap off in that tier.
Okay, well, thanks for telling me.
But it hasn't been a problem in JACKOCAR, so that's why I haven't told you.
Well, let's see what happens here. Here comes Michel Goris. He is, or was, slowing down and now is once again. Will this work? Will this fix it? Hopefully it does, and then our delayed start to Season 9 can get underway.
Does that put him a lap ahead of everybody, though? Because technically he's done a lap. Nope.
Nope. Okay, so for those that are listening, we are going to go to a lobby restart. I will also end the stream and we'll come back very shortly. Goodbye, everyone. We'll be right back in about 5 minutes.